is our very own Tom Harwood. Tom, this is very much a ratcheting up, isn't it, of hostilities between the EU and the UK government?
It certainly is. It was only last month that two legal proceedings were brought against the United Kingdom on what so-called SPS checks, that the UK isn't putting the full force of those checks on the flow of goods between Northern Ireland and Great Britain, but also on reporting trade statistics data. It really is that pernickety when it comes to just simply which spreadsheets we fill out. That's case for a legal action. But of course, four more today. One about the risk of smuggling that the EU talks about. That's the grounds for one of them. And then three of them, it's about the fiscal risk to the EU, that we're not implementing their sorts of tax measures, whether that's excise duties on goods in Northern Ireland, specifically new EU rules on alcohol duty, but also new EU rules on e-commerce and VAT. Now, the UK has 2 months to respond to this legal action. So it'll be one of the first things in the in-tray of the new Prime Minister, whoever he or she is, in around a month and a half. But it's interesting to look at the context of this. That's 6 pieces of legal action launched against the UK by the EU. But it's not just the UK that the EU, a very legalistic organisation, likes to launch action against. Actually, if we look at the EU's very own single market scoreboard, so they call, here is a little picture up that we can show viewers on television. It shows that actually there are 837 pending infringements against the EU's own member states. Top of the list comes Spain with 58. Remember, the UK has 6. Next, it's Italy with 50. Greece has 49. Germany, 48. And France, 39. In fact, the only countries on the green in this checklist are Croatia and Denmark and the like. So really, when it comes to the UK potentially breaching specific terms of treaties, we're really not alone here.
We're not alone, but of course, this is the one that will get the attention. And certainly it comes at a time when the Conservative Party are choosing their new leader and the next Prime Minister. Do you think that's a coincidence?
I don't think it's necessarily a coincidence. Of course, the EU could have brought this legal action at any specific point it wanted to. The point that they're bringing against, for example, whether we've reported certain statistics data or not, is a really peculiar thing to pick up upon. And it seems like the EU has just been scouring through for any small technical failure to follow specific rules, whether intentional or not, in order to create this row, to bring up this pressure. And of course, that is, as the UK is proposing unilateral action on the protocol, the EU wants to apply as much pressure as it can, not only this legal action, but of course excluding British scientists from the Horizon 2020 research funding scheme. Now, of course, in the withdrawal agreement, the EU agreed that the UK could participate in that scheme. Non-EU countries do, plenty of them, Switzerland,
Israel,
for example, Israel even.
Yeah,
but we're currently being excluded from it as a bit of a tit for tat. So, yes, I think there does seem to be a big political element to this, as well as a legalistic one.
Of course, and there was always a practical solution to the issues around the border, but it was always a political issue as well, Tom. And this, I think, probably will help Liz Truss in the Conservative race, because she will be seen to be tougher on Europe than perhaps Rishi Sunak.
Certainly, it's a very interesting thing. The European Research Group and the leading lights of that group sat down with all of the Conservative candidates a little while ago, back when there were more than 2. And it's interesting to see that even before the end of this contest, people like Steve Baker and Bill Cash and Mark Francois and those people that are leading the ERG, they decided to endorse Liz Truss. Despite having voted Remain, she seemed to be one of the strongest people when it comes to the protocol. And it's interesting that Rishi Sunak, despite him having voted Leave, even though some people say he didn't campaign particularly visibly for it, it's interesting that the ERG didn't put their backing behind him on this issue.
And more to come on all of that, because of